Yeah, there goes my Boxster. Hey, YouTubers. Yes, it's bye-bye Boxster. A very sad day for me indeed. Um, I didn't really want to sell my Boxster. I was not happy about it in the least. But the fact is, when I bought it and spent all that money fixing it up, I thought I'd be keeping it for a while. I had the use of a third garage bay so that I had a place for both of my cars. And I lost that third garage bay, I guess, over a year ago. And so I kind of went over that summer or part of that summer, um, the winter, and now this summer without that extra garage bay. And that was, it wasn't the end of the world, obviously, but it kind of was a pain in the butt. And since the Boxster is what it is, a convertible, cloth top, et cetera, and I felt like it was probably worth 3 times what my BMW is, it's got to stay in the garage. So it just lived in the garage all the time. And so my daily driver lived out in the sun, the rain, the snow, the ice, etc. And I just got tired of managing all that. So I decided to sell the Boxster. And I got it out on Craigslist a few weeks ago. It took a while to sell. The thing is, I did a lot of expensive work to it, and it was going to take the right buyer when it comes down to it. These cars generally don't list for all that much money. So my car was by far, I would say, the most expensive one on Craigslist. And there's a reason for that. It was in really, really excellent shape, unusual color combination, and it was completely serviced. And I mean, even while it was on Craigslist, I had additional service done. I had the oil changed at the cost of $200. So I took good care of the car. It was ready to go. I didn't get as much as I would have liked for it. I certainly didn't recover my money, not even close. But, that's the reality of the market. If I had held it longer, then I kind of would have amortized my expenses over a longer period of time. Wouldn't have been quite as painful. But you can't control everything. So it is what it is. So once I did find the right buyer, it sold. And the guy's super happy, and I'm happy he's happy. He's probably watching this video. Hey, Matt. I am sad to see it go, but it opens another chapter. Because while I was thinking about selling the Boxster, I've also been thinking about my BMW E46, which is sort of long in the tooth. Nothing wrong with it. It's in really good shape. If you saw it, you wouldn't believe it was 12 years old, even though it's been tortured by sitting out in the sun and the ice and the snow. But I was starting to get the itch, like maybe I should get another car. So I did find something to cheer me up over the weekend. And I didn't plan this to work out this way. It just so happened. I had been driving cars for the last few weeks. And wasn't even sure I was going to buy one because I was having, believe it or not, I was having trouble finding a new car that made me happy and made me think, yeah, it's worth spending many tens of thousands of dollars for this thing. I just wasn't finding it, and I was looking at my usuals, the companies that I feel like I can rely on. So I looked at BMW 640i Grand Coupe. I was only looking at that because it was certified pre-owned, several years old. It was barely in my price range, but it wasn't all-wheel drive. If it was, I might have just gone for that. But I also looked at the 535 Xi, 328 GT, 335 GT, Audi A7, and Audi A4. I believe that's everything I drove. The BMW struck me as being numb in the steering, and this is a horrible thing. BMW has always been known for the communication that the steering gives you. And every one of these cars I drove, the 640 didn't strike me that way so much. And maybe not the 535, oddly enough. But the others all struck me as really way too light. Even the 335, which I drove specifically because that still has hydraulically assisted steering. Just, I don't know, it just didn't turn me on. The steering wasn't bad, the car just didn't turn me on for whatever reason. So then the Audi A7, which I really wanted to like, I mean, that is a beautiful car. I drove it, sorry, any of you guys that own A7s, I'm sorry, but I spent about, I don't know, 10 minutes driving it. I was like, this is my father's Oldsmobile. It just didn't feel right. So I pulled over thinking, oh, it must be in comfort mode or something. No, it's already in dynamic mode. That's the sport mode, for those of you that don't know Audi terminology. So I was really disappointed because I wanted to like that car so much. It is like one of the most beautiful cars on the road right now. Then I drove an Audi A4, and that's new for 2017. So I drove a 2017 model, and I liked it. I liked it pretty well. Surprisingly, after the A7, I was like, well, the A7's way up line from the A4. I like the A4 better, but I think I'm a little more of a smaller car guy, I guess. So the 2017 A4 seemed like it was in the running, but I don't like the 2-liter turbos that are all over these cars these days. I really find them to be to have throttle response that's hard for me to enjoy. Now I know a lot of that's probably just a matter of what you're used to. My BMW is an E46 and it's a 2004, so it doesn't have turbocharging. It's a 2.5 liter. What am I trying to say? Non-forced induction car. And so it's not fast off the line, and you don't have to worry about controlling it or anything. Maybe that's it. I've been driving it for 12 years. But I just found that the feel of the accelerator and so forth with these cars and coming off the brake onto the accelerator, it just was hard to get a smooth start. Then it would hit you. The turbo lag would finally, or the turbos would finally catch up with what you're trying to do. And then you would take off. But it felt, I don't know, it just felt imprecise, I guess. So anyway, enough about that. What did I end up with? Believe it or not, I ended up with an Audi. But not the A4. I ended up with the S4. So how'd that happen? I just was kind of knowing I'm selling my car on Friday, literally last Friday. I got it sold. I'm sad. I was already kind of shopping for cars, and I thought, hey, I saw an Audi S4 at a Toyota dealer. Maybe I should drive that and just see if I like them or not. I probably wouldn't buy one there. I don't know, but it looks kind of nice. So if the price is right, maybe I'd go for it. So I drove that car, and the guy was really cool. He just let me take it. And I had it for probably half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And basically, by the time I brought the car back, I had decided it's going to be an S4. I mean, it made such a big impression on me. So I didn't buy the Toyota. It had, too many miles for me. It had a few paint issues that I couldn't live with. I don't expect a used car to be perfect, but I just couldn't live with some of these issues. Anyway, I thought I'd back off on that and look and see what else was out there. Well, as it turned out, the Audi dealership had just gotten in. Same color, gray, S4, and less than half the miles as compared to the Toyota used car. Did I say certified pre-owned? Yeah, certified pre-owned. The gray exterior, if I didn't already say that. The magma red and black interior, that's hot. The sport differential, the other car didn't have that. What else did it have? Oh, it had the keyless assist, so you could start the car without putting the key fob in and all that. So it had like 3 or 4 features over the other car I drove. It was a few thousand more, but it was also certified pre-owned, et cetera, et cetera. Bought the car. All right. Long story short, very long story. Sorry. It is incredible. I'm really, really loving it. It's not absolutely perfect, just like any used car. It's been driven, so it's close. It's just not perfect. So I've got one little ding that I need to get pulled out. Besides that, I don't think it really needs anything. I might have to put some winter tires on it. Okay, so let me get back to my... I got off track. I've got some notes here. Let me get back to this. So back to the steering. there's something about the S4 steering that is better than the others I've driven. If you get it into dynamic mode, it seems to weight up really well once you get it up to speed. Or once you're kind of hammering the gas in turns and so forth, then it really seems to firm up. And it's kind of synthetic, but it's better than the others that I drove. Maybe I didn't give the others a fair enough shake. I did get the S4 out onto a canyon road and really try it out. So maybe it was a totally unfair test. Anyway, happy with what I ended up with. Here's what I liked about the S4. I mean, it's incredibly fast. 333 horsepower, 325 foot-pounds of torque, put down through Audi's Quattro. So you punch the gas, you go. It's really, really nice. Handles much better than I expected it to, really. I'm really kind of a BMW nut. I didn't expect much from an Audi, even though I think they're good cars. It's just they've always kind of seemed a little soft to me. This car doesn't feel that way to me. It feels actually really, really good. And it's super modern, which was good and bad. I found when I started looking at new cars, I was like, holy crap, these things are they're like apps with wheels and engines on them. And I don't know if I'm into that. I mean, this thing is all software, and I'm a software developer. I know how many bugs software has. Do I want my car crashing, the computer crashing, and then maybe making me crash? I don't know. I'm probably a little too risk averse. I bought the car anyway, of course. I got past the modernity of it and started getting interested a little bit in some of the possibilities with the tech. Then I get home and it makes me feel like an old man because it was frustrating to set the damn thing up. It took me forever to get my iPod talking to the sound system over Bluetooth. Oh man, I was going nuts. What I came to find out was it was connected. It's just that you can't search for music over the Bluetooth connection. You have to fire that up on the iPad first. Then you get to control what you pick. So if you pick a playlist, you can get to, rewind, go forward, skip, etc., all that stuff once you've got something playing. So that's suboptimal. So what I ended up doing is plugging one of my old iPod Classics in the glove box, and I'm happy. Works really well. The nav system is ridiculous. It's horrible. So I'm going to try to use it occasionally. It really frustrated me to practice with it, whereas using Apple Maps is brain dead, and the phone is bound into the car anyway. So you get your voice directions off the iPhone right over the stereo. So, I'm not sure whether I'll use the nav system or not. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Really happy to have this car. If you're in the market, if you want a new car, 2017 is the year of the new S4. I'm not a new car guy, pretty much. I was looking at a couple, but it was rubbing me the wrong way. But if you are a new car guy, I'm thinking that 2017 S4 is going to be the shit. So you might want to consider that. Other news, this stuff behind me is going to leave the office, and I'll have my review station again, so I can finally catch up on some reviews. I need to catch up a little bit on that. So our office is done. I'll be moving back to work to do my work. Anything else to talk about? I did a little shooting with the Arca Swiss today. Took one sheet. Spent an hour and a half and took one sheet. That's how it goes. So now I've got 2 sheets I need to develop, and as I've said a million times, I really have to have at least 4 before I feel good about mixing up chemical and doing all this stuff. So I think that's it. If you have any questions about the cars, let me know, and I'll catch you later.